Pulp Fiction, 1994, one of the most important movies ever made. The big bang of the modern indie movie scene. The influence and importance of this movie is basically impossible to deny because it is simply probably the most important and influential movie made since Star Wars. And when I first saw this back in about 1995, this blew my mind. I knew very little going in, just that it was a deeply cool and exciting movie, but I didn't know about the fancy timeline structure stuff. I didn't know much about anything really, so I was taken by surprise constantly by this movie. The narrative takes a million different zigzag, weird, bizarre, peculiar turns, and it was a incredibly funny movie. It was laugh out loud funny every 10 minutes. It was truly a great movie. I adored it, and it is a 10 out of 10 classic. But from the point of view of someone who has been watching this movie for something like 28 years and has seen it who knows how many times, the impact of the movie is just not what it once was. Watching it this time, the narrative corkscrew twists and turns had no impact. Most of the humour has ebbed away. It's amusing, but it's only chucklesome in a few places. Things that used to make you laugh out loud just make you kind of And watching it now, basically, this is no longer this massive, important event, and it's now just a movie. And as just a movie, it is very good. There is a hell of a lot to recommend, some very strong sequences, and the whole thing is this large scale, twisty, turny, bizarre, peculiar, deeply quirky, oddball gangster story. It's really good, but it's not the greatest thing ever made. It has quite a few flaws. Basically, the pacing, it is a bit slow in some places, and it's very talkative. I just feel as though if he was to just cut the occasional line, the movie would just speed up and just work a whole lot better. The characters do go on a bit, and there are quite a few dead spots in the movie where we just grind to a halt and get a bunch of monologues. And a really, really bad patch in the movie is a 9-minute sequence where Bruce Willis's girlfriend character takes up a whole bunch of running time, and she is a crap character. Her material, her scenes are not interesting, and it just does not work. So she is just a complete dead spot in the movie. Her scenes do not work. She is an irritating character, and her scenes are just simply boring, a waste of time. So that's about 9 minutes of dead space. And I feel the movie ends on a big anticlimax. I just don't really like that diner scene at the end. It might be a classic scene, but to me, it's just an awful lot of dialogue. A lot of which is a bit too on the nose with the spiritual side. You know, I'm buying something with my money. I am buying your life. It's just a bit silly in my opinion, and it's just as a climax to the movie. To me, it's just very weak. After all that cool, exciting, weird stuff, this is how you're going to end it on a drawn out conversation, which just isn't all that good. So I've never really cared for the actual ending of the movie. I mean, it remains a really good movie, but it's just a movie and it has pacing issues. And with the passage of time, those crazy, mind blowing, corkscrew plot developments just don't have that much impact anymore. And the humour has mostly disappeared from it. It's not anywhere near as funny as it used to be. But it certainly remains a very interesting, very quirky, one of a kind, strange movie. And it's certainly a outright classic. So, from my point of view, as someone who has seen the movie too many times over far too many years, I would give it a rather harsh sounding 8 out of 10. I mean, it's a hard movie to review. I mean, what can anyone possibly say about the movie that hasn't already been said? I'm certainly not going to add anything new and interesting